So if anyone has not figured it out yet, the Wii Shop Channel is closing down in 2019. Why am I telling you this far ahead of time? Well, Nintendo is also disabling adding Wii Points on March of 2018, which of course is this year currently. The reason I am making this video way ahead of time is so I can give any Wii or Wii U owners watching this a chance to add as many Wii Points as they can before they disable it. So, to be short and clear, they are disabling adding Wii Points in March of 2018 and actually shutting down the storefront in January of 2019. The Wii Shop Channel was a great way to get any of the retro games you wanted without breaking the bank on eBay purchases. Trust me, this was a way better and cheaper option, as long as you're okay with digital games. If you were low on money and did not want to spend too much on original cartridges, this was for you. It also had its own lineup of original software, like My Life is a King and Dr. Mario Online RX. But what most people went on there for was the old classic titles, like Super Mario Bros., Ocarina of Time, and Super Metroid. Now, these are all great games, but nowadays, you can easily find these on the eShop on the Wii U. And with Virtual Console on the horizon for the Nintendo Switch, it will be even better, considering how portable the Switch is. I'm going to go through as much as I can for Wii exclusive Virtual Console games, 10 to be exact. I have done some research and some gaming on these titles, and I think I may have found some hidden gems, and some pretty obvious ones too that are totally worth downloading, since I cannot seem to find them on the eShop. Since the Wii U has a Wii mode, this is how I've been playing these games, so you do not need to have an original Wii for this. As long as you have a Wii U, then you can have even more variety with the eShop titles as well. Now, here's my top 10 Wii exclusive Virtual Console games. Number 10. Princess Tomato and the Salad Kingdom. If you like text adventure based games, then this is for you. It is not the greatest game, but I am sure it was good at the time. You go through each screen of the game individually with commands, so it may feel kinda tedious at times. So far, I did not get through much of the game, but it seems okay, if you are into this kind of thing. Nothing much else to say. Number 9. Actraiser. Now, I did not play a lot of this game, but from what I have demoed so far, it seems to be a combination of SimCity and any hack and slash platformer that you can think of. So from the gist of what I have gathered, you are a warrior whose power has been sealed, and you must restore humanity's faith in you. You must battle monsters and build civilization for people to live in it. While building towns in the overworld section, you use the angel to shoot arrows at crows to restore your SP, which you can use to create miracles and disasters. Eventually, the people of the town will gain skills and traits, like hunting monsters. Overall, this is an okay game, but even though SimCity is better, it was unfortunately removed from the Wii Shop Channel. This here is an okay combination of platforming and city building. Number 8. Kirbys Avalanche. If you were a fan of Puyo Puyo Tetris when it came out, then why not experience it the original way it was meant to be played? This is basically Puyo Puyo on the Super Nintendo, but it was reskinned into a Kirby game, so not only did you get to pummel your opponents in garbage bags, but you got to do it with Kirby. How cool is that? It is a basic Japanese puzzle game, similar to how Dr. Mario works. You drop Puyos, and you can attempt to get chains and combos, depending on how skilled you are at this kind of thing. As for the Kirby character intros, well, some of them are kind of out of character a bit, but somehow it was funnier than I thought. This was probably the only Kirby game where Kirby can speak in full sentences. No Puyos or anything from Kirby this time. Instead, he has this attitude. Is he trying to mimic Sonic the Hedgehog? Number 7. Secret of Mana. This right here is a great non-Final Fantasy game by Square Enix. Here's how it works. You get this sword, and you think you can just button mash your way through, right? Wrong! See the gauge at the bottom of the screen? If your power is too low, you cannot deal enough damage to most enemies. This is how I think a non-turn-based Final Fantasy game should be like. Unless you count Kingdom Hearts. That game I know plays better than this, but I'm talking about Virtual Console games, not post-Nintendo 64 or anything. So let's keep the focus on this, shall we? This one, I also have not played much of either, but as far as I can tell, it plays well and still kind of holds up, especially for a Super Nintendo game. This is one I definitely recommend, especially if you don't even have a Super Nintendo Classic. God, those things are so hard to get a hold of. Number 6. Final Fantasy II. Now, don't worry, Final Fantasy III is on this list. I know I give away spoilers for this video, but I am not favoring this one over 3. I am pretty sure everyone knows about the series of RPGs from Square Enix, so I'll just cut to the chase somewhat. Obviously, just like other Final Fantasy and RPG games, there was a ton of dialogue you either read or just click through like a mindless zombie, but the turn-based combat makes up for it. So, just like the first Final Fantasy, there was a crystal involved, and some bad guys steal it. If you have not guessed it yet, this is actually Final Fantasy IV, but they named it 2 in North America. This would not be the first time they did this. Number 5. Final Fantasy 1. This one I have actually played through halfway so far, so do not call me lazy on this game choice. As much as I would recommend the PlayStation version of this game, the NES version is the only one on the Wii Shop Channel, so you're gonna have to deal with it. As you can imagine, this is the start of the Final Fantasy franchise from Square Enix. You start out with 4 different characters with different classes that you can choose from, ranging from the warrior to the red mage. The combat system is as basic as it gets. It is kind of a button masher, but unfortunately, the game is programmed in a way so that when an enemy is dead, the next attack does not go to an enemy that is alive. It instead attacks dead air if you keep attacking the same enemy, regardless of it being downed. The adventure is pretty basic as well. You have 4 crystals and you must fight evil to restore the power within them. If you check out Pro Jared's YouTube video on this game, he can explain it to you a little bit better. He even recommends any of the versions based on the PS1 version, which is also my recommendation. In short, get the PS1 edition for a better experience, but for a nostalgic 8-bit adventure, get the NES version. Number 4. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there existed a game trilogy that is super hard, but is super awesome. It is called Super Star Wars. This is probably something I recommend over Battlefront 2, because there are no microtransactions here as far as I can see. Obviously based on the Star Wars movies, this game has it all. The action, the cutscenes, and the music of one of the best movie franchises in existence. These obviously take some liberties in the story, but it makes up for it with the gameplay. I mean, just look at this! Just look! But despite being awesome and epic, it is also the hardest trilogy ever on the Super Nintendo. Good luck getting through The Empire Strikes Back. You will never get past the Ice Cave. Never! Number 3. Ah yes, Final Fantasy 3. Well, it was actually called 6 in Japan, but still. Now, I have not gotten far through this game either, but everything about it that I have seen so far is amazing. The art style and graphics, the gameplay, and the soundtrack is as great as it gets for a Final Fantasy game. I can see why everybody praises this game. I especially love the opening with the robot suits walking through the snow. If this doesn't shout out Final Fantasy, then what does? Now, because I have not gotten far in the game, I can only make assumptions that the rest of the game is as awesome as the opening. Number 2. Any of the Sega Genesis titles. Blast processing is a term that will never leave your head, especially if you are a Sega fanboy, like me. What sucks about the eShop is the lack of Sega games, especially the Genesis titles. The Wii Shop Channel has numerous Genesis games: Sonic the Hedgehog, Pulseman, Ristar, Gunstar Heroes, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, you name it. Before I get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. And now, the number 1 Virtual Console game exclusive to Wii. Chrono Trigger. Honestly, it surprises me that this is not on the eShop. Why would Nintendo and Square Enix not put this on the eShop? It is one of the best RPG games, period. I am sorry if you guys wanted to see Final Fantasy 3 at number 1, but Chrono Trigger pulled me in more than any Final Fantasy game ever did. One of the many things that set this apart from any Final Fantasy is the combat. It is not completely random how battles start. You see the enemy outside a battle, and you can run into it to start said battle. But another difference here is that there is no transition. The battles take place in the same scene as the exploration area. The story here, in my opinion, is more engaging and exciting than any Final Fantasy game, along with the variety of characters that this game throws at you. Fun fact to know, the character artist for this game is Akira Toriyama, the same guy who created Dragon Ball Z, so you can see why Chrono's hair looks similar to Goku's. If anyone is not familiar with this game, most of the game's story is told through time travel, which is what sets this apart from the usual Final Fantasy formula of RPG games. I know that the Super Nintendo version is awesome, but if you want an enhanced experience, get the Nintendo DS version, which includes the cutscenes from the PlayStation version and an extra boss fight exclusive to the DS. But if you are okay without cutscenes and extra bosses, then this is for you. So, that is my top 10 Wii exclusive virtual console games. Sorry that I did not get too far in some of the games to fully explain them, but this is merely a top 10 video, so there is not too much to talk about with this format of video. If anyone wants to see full-on reviews or let's plays of these games, then go ahead and comment on which one I should fully cover. If you want to see more videos like this, or want to see me play video games blind or not, then go ahead and click the subscribe button, or the on-screen circle. And be sure to check out some of my other videos too. I promise you that I put more effort into those videos than I did with this!